Graduates, guests, and esteemed scholars of Newcastle University, thank you for this great privilege and opportunity to stand up here today as a graduate of 2013 and give this address. It really is an honor and a privilege. Now, I'd like to talk to you today about the power of communication. And here's the good news for all of you who are graduates today. This is something you're really good at. It's something you've just spent the last 4 years of your life working and building towards, that key skill that the world is in great need of today. Languages are becoming that much more important in today's society. And having come to the university to develop and acquire the languages that you have puts you in a great position. Languages don't only open doors to the wider world and expand your horizons, but they also help you build bridges and relationships across cultures where they would have previously been impossible to build. Of course, languages also help you in distinguishing yourself from the rest of our nation. Now, I recently had the great privilege and opportunity to go to French Guiana in South America. And while I was there, I was asked the following question. What do you call someone who speaks 2 languages fluently? Bilingual, right? And what do you call someone who speaks 3 languages fluently? Trilingual. And what do you call someone who speaks just 1 language fluently? English. But here you are today as the living proof that that isn't necessarily the case. So good job. Now, you've all worked hard to acquire the skills that you have today, but I'm sure you'd all agree with me in saying that we've had some great help along the way. So to the members of staff, our tutors, lecturers, seminar leaders, we would all like to say thank you for your hard work, your patience, your time, your dedication, and all the hours that you've invested into us. I know we've been difficult to put up with sometimes, but really thank you for seeing us through to the end. Why don't we give them a round of applause? But also, to our parents and families as well, thank you for your support, your encouragement, your love, and most of all, your money. Don't worry, one day it will come back to you in the form of old people's care plans and retirement homes. We are really grateful. And I personally would like to say a thank you to all of you as graduates here today. To be honest, university wouldn't have been the amazing 4 years that it has been without you guys there. The sense of community that we have here in the School of Modern Languages is really quite unique, and it's strong and I believe special to the university. It's one that we're all going to miss. There are, however, a few things that I know we won't miss from our university life. One of those things has to be those wretched first-year fire alarms. Now, it seems they went off on a weekly basis in my halls. I remember one cold winter night being woken up at 4:30 a.m. to that sweet siren sound and huddling outside in just a t-shirt and shorts waiting for the fire brigade to come in. My flatmate was particularly indignant this time, even more so when it came to light that the detector had gone off from our own flat. His anger, however, greatly subsided as we returned to the building with the firemen to find his very own half-burned sandals smoking away on the radiator. So when you point a finger, remember there's 3 pointing back at you. There's a free bit of advice for today. Now, I'm sure we all have our own stories, experiences, and memories from university life that we will carry with us into the future. Lessons we've learned, though hopefully not always the hard way. Friendships we've made and built, knowledge we've acquired. We have a lot to be thankful for. But as I look back on the skinny guy that I was in 2009, and then to the, still skinny guy that I am today, I realize how much has changed. And looking at you all here today too, you were once all so kind, unassuming and polite. But now you're still all those things and so much more. Wiser, more mature, capable adults who've been through thick and thin and the joys and frights of living in a foreign country. All jokes aside, congratulations. You've done an amazing job to make it to this point. But all that said and done, while today is a celebration of everything we've experienced and achieved through our time at university, I believe it's so much more a celebration of what's to come. Now, do you remember sharing your dreams as a child of what you wanted to be when you grew up? Perhaps your aspiration was to become an astronaut, an F1 driver, a doctor, or even the Prime Minister. In my own case, it was professional Lego builder. Now, I don't know about you, but I never once heard a friend say to me, I want to be a student when I grow up, for the rest of my life. But I look around and I see a lot of young people, graduates who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, well, hopefully not the 40s, but still living their lives as if they want to be students. It's like there's something so precious that they can't and won't let go of, and they don't want to grow up. But here's the truth. Studying isn't an end in itself. It's not a putting off of the real world to a later date. It's a means to equip us for what lies ahead. So do look back on these past 4 years with fond memories. Be thankful, be grateful for all the things that you've achieved and gained at university. New skills, experience, knowledge, friendships. But now, it's time to press on into new things. Perhaps some of you here are thinking, myself very much included in this, to be honest. Great, but what on earth am I meant to press on towards? What am I meant to do with my life? Maybe some of you do have the next 10 years figured out. If so, good for you. But perhaps for those of us that don't, bear this in mind. Back when I was learning to drive, I remember trying for the first time to do a 3-point turn in the road. To be honest, it was probably more like a 20-point turn. And amidst the stress and sweat of trying to turn this clunky wheel with no power steering, I remember my tutor saying to me, you know, it's much easier to turn the wheel when the car's actually moving. Thanks. So actually, I think it's the same for us as we continue on with our lives. If we stay put, it's going to be pretty hard to move in any kind of direction. But at least begin to take a step along, and you'll find it gets much easier to turn in the right way as you go along. It's much easier to turn a moving ship than a stationary one. So my encouragement to you is this, to steal from Nike. Just do it. Whatever it is. Maybe something you love to do, or something you've always dreamed of doing as a child. And don't be afraid of failure. That's how we learn after all. The inventor of the light bulb, Thomas Edison, was a man famous for not giving up. And after more than 1,000 unsuccessful attempts to produce light through electricity, a colleague approached him and asked him, why insist so much on this invention when it's already failed thousands of times? And he replied, these aren't failures, but more than 1,000 ways of how not to do it. So I would like to share with you all a quote that I came across recently from British Army officer T.E. Lawrence that has inspired me to live life to the best that I possibly can. Admittedly, it came through the medium of a PlayStation game, but I still believe it's important nonetheless. He said this, all men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake in the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act on their dreams with open eyes to make them possible. Now, there is power in communication. You have so many doors opened up to you through being able to communicate with so many people across the world. But there is also power in a dream. It gives purpose, hope for a better future, something to work towards. Now, maybe some of you, parents and staff here included, have dreams that have fallen along by the wayside as you've grown up in life. Places you've wanted to visit, things you've wanted to experience, ideal careers you've wanted to pursue. Perhaps some of you have never dreamed at all. Well, right now, I will encourage you, where you're sat, to visualize your life in 10 years' time. Think about it for just a minute. What does it look like? What have you achieved and accomplished? Where have you been? Where do you work? Are you married? Do you have a family? Just take a minute to reflect on how you want your life to look in the future. Now, in doing that, you're visualizing for the future. And visualizing for the future helps us to determine our immediate steps. Don't forget that picture of your future life. Keep it as a mental photograph in your mind. And now go and do what you need to do to make that vision a reality. Don't let your steps determine your goals, but let your goals determine your steps. Now, of all the speeches I've heard in my life, not one of them has shed light on the actual process taken to write one. I thought I'd continue in the studious university spirit and do some of my own fieldwork and research before giving this address. I asked several graduates from previous years what they remembered from their graduation speeches. And the most common answer to come back to me was this. Not very much, really. So, if you forget everything that was said today, at least remember this. Be dreamers, and don't be afraid to dream big. Your life is as small as you can find it to be, but as great as you will let it be. You're the one living it after all. Graduates of 2013, congratulations. This is the beginning of the rest of your life.